and welcome to Inside Edition, where we discuss national, regional, and international issues in depth. The Republic of France and the Kingdom of Bahrain enjoy outstanding mutual relations and continuous bilateral cooperation in various fields. The two countries have recently celebrated their 50 years of diplomatic relations amid renewed commitment by the two countries' leaderships to boost ties, strengthen partnership, and widen collaboration across various areas. To talk more about that, we are pleased to be joined here in the studio by His Excellency the Ambassador of the Republic of France to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Mr. Jérôme Cochard, right after this. Welcome back, dear viewers. Joining me here in the studio is His Excellency the Ambassador of the Republic of France to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Mr. Jérôme Cochard. Thank you very much for being with us today. Mr. Ambassador, now we start off by congratulating you as the Kingdom of Bahrain and the Republic of France are celebrating their 50th anniversary of establishing their diplomatic relations. Can you tell us more about this history and the phases of how it developed?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. France was the first European Union country to establish diplomatic relations with Bahrain. The French president at that time, his name was Georges Pompidou, was keen to establish diplomatic relations upon the entry of Bahrain in the United Nations. But our relations started long before 1972. In 1842, a French ship, La Favorite, sent by King Louis Philippe, arrived in Bahrain. At that time, Sheikh Abdullah bin Ahmad al Khalifa was governor and ruler of Bahrain. He sent to the emissary of the King of France a welcome message, and he invited him in his fort in Abu Maher in a friendly move. And I can tell you that the captain of the ship at that time was also an artist, and he made precious drawings of the Bahrain at that time during his stay. Wow. And I hope to publish these drawings one day.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. And when we talk about this long history between the Republic and between Bahrain, how do you value the keen interest of Bahrain as well as France's leadership to bolster these relations between the two countries?
Our bilateral relation is based on friendship, trust, and mutual respect. Yeah. The word that comes in my mind is proximity. Taqarub in Arabic, proximity of views, proximity between Bahrain and French leaderships, between the people, the societies. Internationally, we share many priorities, such as the preservation of peace and security, the principle of peaceful coexistence between nations, and the idea that dialogue and solidarity must prevail and not power.
Yeah, yes, understood. When we talk about relations, a main factor of them are the visits between not only the citizens of both countries to the other country, but also the leadership. Now, what can you tell us about the official exchange of visit? How did it result in further enhancing this Bahraini-French relations?
All the presidents of the French Republic met with His Majesty King Ahmad bin Isa al Khalifa since his accession to the throne, and even before, when he was crown prince. It has always been an ongoing dialogue and a fruitful one between our two countries. It's outstanding.
When we talk about the role of the French community in the Kingdom of Bahrain, let's first go back to talking about how the two countries are currently celebrating their 50th anniversary of joint relations. Can you tell us more about how the embassy has plans for this occasion specifically?
We launched on Tuesday, 15 February 2022, the celebrations of these 50 years. They are lasting until the end of the year, and many events have already been organized. We have also a special logo. And we also have a special work of art made by 4 artists, young artists, 2 French and 2 Bahraini. And the cherry on the cake, if I may say so, will take place in next October at the famous Louvre Museum in Paris. A fine exhibition of archaeological piece of art from Bahrain, from the Dilmun and Tilos period. This exhibition will be on display in the Louvre Museum for several years. And this exhibition will mark the celebrations of the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations.
That's amazing. When we hear all of this culture and all of this history between the 2 countries, I really want to know, in a recently actually published statement, Your Excellency affirmed that the kingdom's openness on the world, which has existed for thousands of years, has been further strengthened over the past 50 years. In such developments, the friendship between France and Bahrain has taken its rightful place. How do you value this friendship and the constant cooperation between the 2 countries in these many fields, not just culture?
I have a lot to say. I try to make it short. France stands with the Gulf countries in general as a friend, as a partner, as an ally. During the first semester of 2022, France was chairing the European Union Council. And at that time, a strategic partnership with the Gulf, a European strategic partnership with the Gulf, was adopted by the EU institutions. It shows that for France and for EU, the Gulf region and Bahrain in particular are of key interest. In the economic field, I will start with the economic field, relations are positively oriented. French companies are well established in Bahrain in very diverse and numerous sectors, from aeronautics, and I especially have in mind Airbus planes, and the new international airport terminal of Bahrain with French design and security inside. So aeronautics, pharmaceutical goods, electrical equipment, banking and financial services, infrastructures, environment, tourism, hospitality, dining and food, beauty and cosmetics, fashion, lifestyle, not to mention mass distribution, energy, aluminium. So you see, we have many French companies involved in Bahrain because, for simple reasons, they have confidence in the kingdom and its economic opportunities. In the cultural field, the French embassy in Bahrain is very dynamic. Next October, a program will take place called Paris to Manama Fashion Week. It's the second edition of the first one, of course, but it was very successful last year, and we wanted to go on with this idea. And in November, we will also have an exhibition of digital art, which shows that Bahrain is very modern, and there are many Bahraini talents. And also several concerts are already scheduled and planned before the end of the year. So you see very rich activity.
Yes, amazing. One of the main things also that attracts a lot of people is the French language, and your embassy provides a hub to teach it. What can you tell us about the programs, the educational programs provided by the embassy for the people looking forward?
Well, the COVID, it was a bit difficult during the COVID times. The Alliance Française, for example, which is one of our main engines for French language in Bahrain, they had to stop live courses, so they moved to online, which was successful. We have the French International Lycée, in Muharraq, who is also very successful. They have excellent results every year for the graduation at the end of the year. Yeah. So we are very satisfied, and I often meet people who have learned French at school.
Amazing. It's actually a window into the French culture, learning the language itself. Well, what have been the greatest developments and launched initiatives at the embassy, at the French embassy specifically, in terms of consolidating the bilateral relations, and what are the embassy's future plans to further enhance them in all fields?
Well, we tried during the 2 years of COVID to stay active with ideas, projects, and well, now things are behind us, we hope, and we already have new projects for the future, and most of them are very close to what the kingdom identified as key sectors in the medium-term future. Okay. I'm thinking especially to tourism, hospitality sector. Yeah. Maybe you don't know it, but France is a key actor in the hospitality sector in Bahrain, especially with the Accor Group, which has many hotels here and many new hotels to come. Bahrain tourism strategy was launched last November in the frame of the Bahrain Kingdom's economic recovery plan. Yeah. I just met 2 hours ago Her Excellency Fatima Al-Sayrafi, the new Minister of Tourism, and we discussed ways to enhance cooperation in the field of tourism, because I told you we are very active, but there is always scope for further improvement. Yes. Second sector, I have also in mind renewable energies or sustainable development. And for example, several French companies are part of the pre-qualification process for the Bahrain Metro project, which is, as you may know, providing a new sustainable mode of transportation. These are 2 sectors, but there are many others, of course.
Amazing having this experience, of course, or sharing this experience and cooperation between the 2 countries actually is a recipe for success for these projects on Bahrain's ground. One thing here in Bahrain that's very special is the huge French community that we have. So what can you tell us about the French community here in Bahrain, and what are the key sectors that French citizens in Bahrain are currently engaged in?
It has been obvious since my arrival, and I am part of it, that the French community is at ease in Bahrain. My compatriots find in the kingdom a friendly and true hospitality. So they're very happy to be there. We are not the first community, of course, in numbers. There are some huge communities, as you may know, better than me. But there are, I mentioned the diversity of the economic and cultural fields where we are very active. Yeah. All the French citizens, they are everywhere in these sectors. One special quote maybe for the banking place, because the French BNP has its headquarters, regional headquarters in Bahrain, so there are more than 350 people. So
they have
one of the strongest engines. But in addition to this, French are everywhere, and we're very pleased with this.
And we're very proud of it as well. Mr. Ambassador, now the embassy here in Bahrain, the French embassy in Bahrain, always has activities that engages the French citizens as well, some of the Bahraini counterparts, and they take event. And this kind of collaboration and exchange of talks and expertise is really important. How do you value making these kind of gatherings that are hosted by the embassy itself to exchange kind of culture?
This is the heart of our work here.
Yeah.
We are here to cooperate with Bahrain leadership, of course, but also with Bahrain civil society, Bahrain businessmen, Bahrain people in general. And for me as ambassador, I can tell you, I've been there for 3 years. Despite the virus, I try to do many things. It's a great pride to be able to interact almost on a daily basis with Bahraini people who are so wonderful, cooperative, and the hospitality here is remarkable.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Before we end today's show, my last question to you, for your point of view, what are the main fields that can witness upcoming cooperation more within the two countries or between the two countries?
In cultural and cooperation, we are there, we're active, but we are always having new projects. For example, we just started some months ago to train people for screening, for scenarios. This is one side. On the economic field, I mentioned, but I can be more precise, we are very active. We are looking for what's happening for the great projects taking place in Bahrain, especially the metro. Yeah. And again, tourism, sustainable development. Yeah. We are here to cooperate. Our companies, not directly the ambassador, but we are supporting them, following what they are doing, and we really hope that in the future things will go well like they are now.
Hopefully. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for being with us. And the embassy is a very integral and important part to help flourish these kind of relationships between companies or French community and Bahrain. Thank you for being with us and for taking time to answer our questions.
Merci. Have a good day.
You too. And we'd like to thank you, dear viewers, for watching us, and we'll see you next week in another episode of Inside Edition.